Truckin' Bozo, Dale Summers. Knew this was going to happen. I was grateful to be at 700 WLW for every day for 20 years of him. In a young man's eyes back then, Randy came to us and said, "Hey, we're going to hire this guy named the Truckin' Bozo." And you know, it's a theater of the mind, and I thought, for crying out loud, don't tell me this guy's going to come in with a clown suit, the big shoes, the red hair, the makeup, and the big red nose every night. I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? Well, what in the world happened was we ended up with a legend. And but millions of people throughout the night heard him, and he was larger than that TV clown ever became. Believe me. I was one who didn't like truckers when I was a young driver growing up, but that was one man who turned me around, and I'm proud to say a lot of people in this room, the modern movers of America, are now friends of mine. I did my first sportscast on the station on the Truckin' Bozo show, and he helped me with my presentation, which was pretty bad at the beginning, writing and broadcasting basics that I still use today. Bozo taught me about the American trucker. This country would not be what would it be on a daily basis if it wasn't for the men and women that are out there on the concrete sea every day. He always tell me, he says, "Seg, where do you think that bread comes from? How does it get on the shelves? The fruits and vegetables, the potato chips that we ate a lot of, and millions of other items that we use every day, a truck brings it to your door." He'd always tell me, "Seg, where would you be without a truck?" And this was the night, I think it was 400 degrees outside, and he had the studio down to about 35 below zero. And you come in the studio and you have to walk around, and there's a big console there, and you walk around and the Bozo doesn't have a shirt on, and he says, "I'm hot." I said, Bodo, it feels like Mr. Freeze in here. "I'm still hot. And he kept going. But he would always say, he said, "Where would you be without a truck? Hungry, naked, and sleepy." And for looking at me and the Bozo then, that was not a good combination. Bodo had 25 shares overnight. I mean, millions of people listening to him. That meant thousands and thousands, truck drivers, third shift people who just listened overnight, and people just traveling overnight. The pastor mentioned the impact, and the impact, Sean mentioned it. I learned the power of the Bozo in 1988. State of Indiana announced that they were going to split the speed limit in the state for trucks and cars, 55 for trucks, 65 for cars. When that got Bozo attention, he went berserk. And he said he called for a boycott of Indiana. He called on truckers, don't eat, don't get any fuel, buy cigarettes, candy, potato chips, nothing. Don't do anything, just drive through Indiana. Don't do a thing, don't even breathe through Indiana. About 6 to 8 months later, I'm sitting in the booth working with Jim LaBarbera, and the door's open, and I see this guy pass by. And it's the Bozo, and he's in a suit. And I thought, what in the world's going on? What are you doing? What's going on here? Governor Robert Orr of Indiana and others traveled to the station on 4th Street to get down on bended knee and told Bodo, T.O. Bodo on this, "You're killing us. Call it off." Next night he called it off. That was the impact of the Bodo. One night, Mississippi lady was robbed at her store in Georgia. Bozo put out the description of the suspect. They caught the guy out probably no more than an hour later. That was the impact of the Bodo. Now, I think this story's true. A lady by the name of Nora McIntyre used to be the account executive in the early days of the Bozo, and one of his sponsors was escort radar detectors. And from what I understand, Nora and the escort execs were in San Francisco. And she said, if I can tune the station to hear the Bozo, a $100,000 deal would be done. They were going across the Golden Gate Bridge They turned the radio on, tuned it to 700. Where do I sign? The deal was done. After a while, we started calling him the Bozo. It was never Bozo or anything like that. It was Bozo. Bozo, and he'd answer the phone. Bozo phone, get on the Bozo phone. But if it wasn't for Dale Summers, I wouldn't be able to know some of the greatest people I know, the men and women of the American trucker. Yoda, Monkey Gouger, Beatnik Bandit, White Trash, Lobster, Little Brother. Now, if I'm leaving some out, I'm sorry. But I don't even know your real names. All I know is that. That's it. And how you guys in Hollywood. So Bozo gave the American trucker a voice. He was a friend and buddy of those on the road. And there's a song Johnny Cash sang a little while ago, Sailors on the Concrete Sea. Bozo was the admiral of this great fleet. So in honor of the Bozo, I hope people just wave at a trucker, letting them know thanks for what you do. And maybe the truckers, every so often when you're out there at 12:05 Eastern Time, give a little honk of the horn for when ATN comes on. Bozo will be with you. Thank you.